Video. Today we are looking at all the Halo 2 anniversary terminals.
Pursuant to Office of ONI Retrieval and Acquisitions Inquiry of 26 September 2552, the following is a target profile of Del Vadamy, Supreme Commander of the Covenant Fleet of Particular Justice, compiled by Lieutenant Commander Locke. First confirmed contact with Vadamy came in 2535 on an unofficial human colony known as the Rubble. After-action reports from civilians, as well as Spartan Units 006, 111, and 120, suggest that Vadamy was at that point a relatively minor functionary of the Prophet of Regret.
Yep.
Spartan 006 engaged Vadamy in combat on the Rubble. Both parties survived the encounter.
Oh, bad shoot. Some awesomeness going on there.
Shortly after 2535, the UNSC first encountered the newly formed Covenant Fleet of Particular Justice, now led by Vadamy.
How many shots? Like, that was a pretty interesting sequence. Like, how many shots to kill the ship? And that ship wasn't even doing that.
Review of early engagements with this fleet show that it quickly grew in size from 5 to nearly 60 ships, as Vadamy cut a path in many human systems. ONI Section 3 made multiple attempts to anticipate or even track Vadamy's movements, at the cost of a number of operative lives.
Wow.
Vadamy eluded all such efforts, and he continued his unpredictable and devastating campaign.
He's their best commander. Too bad they...
Vadamy also stands out from other Covenant commanders in the frequency in which he takes a personal role in ground assaults.
Hands-on. Interesting music at the end there. Gets you a little scared, I guess. Yeah, I don't see why they would fire Vadamy from his commander position. That just seems like a bad idea the Prophets did during the campaign. Probably the worst idea, to be honest. Vadamy, Supreme Commander of Fleet Particular Justice, target value Alpha.
Camber was a major manufacturing center for UNSC fleet materials with a population of 5.6 million.
Huh.
After discovering Camber's location, Vadamy penetrated the early warning perimeter without alerting UNSC forces and began his ground and orbital attacks before most of the planet knew they were in danger.
Oh.
While 17 of his ships bombed key defensive positions, Vadamy led a group of elites in a personal assault on UNSC System HQ.
Oh, wow. Big explosions.
One of the first units to engage Vadamy was the 3rd Battalion Reserves, who were so unprepared for the arrival of the Covenant forces that Vadamy found them unarmed and defenseless.
Heavy breathing. Oh, God. Look up,
In an
soldier.
unexpected display of what appears to be honor, Vadamy allowed the 3rd to finish gearing up before engaging them in combat.
Honor.
While we've had multiple reports of a strict system of honor and ritual behavior followed by the elites within the Covenant, this is the first recorded example of such honor being shown to human opponents, when even given the chance to defend themselves. 3rd Battalion losses were complete.
Yep. Oof.
Vadamy continued his campaign across many human systems, culminating in his most devastating blow against the UNSC at Reach.
81,000 out of 5 billion. Oh my gosh. That's like mass extermination. Jeez. I mean, I guess that's what the humans did to the Covenant, though, on a couple planets, so... Yeah, so Spartan 117 to get the access.
Vadamy's most recent and damaging blow to the UNSC was the fall of Reach. ONI has still not been able to fully determine how Vadamy located the planet, and once again, he caught us completely by surprise when his forces arrived in orbit and on the ground.
Absolutely. Be surprising.
Vadamy is responsible for over 1 billion total casualties and the loss of at least 7 human planets.
Wow, that is big
His forces
damage.
have defeated all UNSC counterattacks at the cost of 123 fleet vessels and over 23,000 personnel.
Oof. We focus on this
And now
little
with
helmet.
Reach lost, ONI and UNSC strategic AI report a 0% confidence that the Navy can stop Vadamy through traditional means. In the opinion of this investigator, Vadamy is the most dangerous Covenant military asset on the field. It's common knowledge that the Covenant have a significant technological advantage over the UNSC, but are sometimes inflexible in their tactics. This is not the case for Vatican. We cannot predict what he'll do next, but given time, we fear he will dismantle all remaining UNSC strongholds. This agent's recommendation: immediate termination. If humanity wants to survive this war, we cannot do it with Vatican on the field.
That's true. I mean, the Prophet's already kind of helped you out, though, man. He's an arbiter now, and probably going to be executed soon by the Prophet. He's not going to be in command anytime soon. And with him working with Johnson, I don't think he'll be against the humans for a little while anyways. Ooh. Giant. Oh wait, this is the remade version of the last cutscene in the Halo 1 campaign. Cheaters!
Quite unacceptable.
There's the Master Chief when he was flying away. The Master Beef! Die! I will destroy all the rings! They get that more detail though. There's a lot better animation and detail in this version, but I think they might have missed a couple things. Let's see if they did.
Glorious day.
Oh yeah, they skipped the whole part
prophets
with the
will be
jackal.
pleased that we have rescued an oracle from the humans' violation of the holy temple.
Why do you keep calling it a temple? My installation was a weapon, and one which we needed very, very badly.
But Oracle, I do not understand. We were told the rings are salvation, a gateway to paradise.
Told? By whom? Anyone who
death.
told you that is a fool, or quite mad.
We're stupid.
That installation was a beautiful tool, designed to destroy everything the Flood might feed on.
Everything?
Yes.
Oh, quite everything. And if even one flood spore survived the destruction of my ring,
Communications. Shut down
Jake cut
all
off the last
lines to the
part.
fleet. We will not notify the prophets of our discovery until I hear everything this oracle has to say.
I will gladly share what I am permitted, but we have little time. What has been unleashed here could destroy everything you have ever known.
Yep.
On that, Oracle, we are in agreement.
What about everything else? I like how they just stare at each other for however long this scene rolls on for. And a destroyed Halo ring. Very destroyed. Wow. Surprised that one small little UNC ship when detonated can destroy an entire ring like that. Kind of funny. Another monitor report. No numbers though, it kind of sucks, but okay.
Your actions do not make sense. Proper protocol for a flood outbreak is to establish immediate infection reporting. Communications must be maintained with all local forces in order to track any spread of the parasite.
There are no local forces, Oracle. For now, all you have is me.
Okay.
But I tracked multiple ships in orbit, including some remaining human presence. In light of the danger posed by the flood, surely you can set aside this disagreement with the humans.
No! Anything still alive in orbit is our enemy. The humans have very good cause to kill us on sight, and the knowledge you've shared with me casts doubt on the entire purpose of our covenant. If any of our ships remain above us, they are not the help you seek.
Oh.
But why would they not provide assistance? Because of this talk of prophecies and journeys? I learned a small amount about your covenant before that reclaimer blew up my installation. But my understanding is incomplete. The AI I encountered on board one of your ships was less than forthcoming.
What you need to know, Oracle, is that thousands of years ago, at the founding of our great covenant, a bargain was struck between the prophets and the elites. A bargain which I fear will be the end of us.
Ah. Interesting. Okay. We're getting somewhere right before it ended. Monitor report contain. No, yeah, it's Will of the Prophets now, not containment. This is one of the terminals that I got during the campaign. This one, the first one, and a couple others. I didn't do that well on getting terminals, as I did in the first Halo campaign anyways. The Holy City.
regarding the history of the Covenant and its glorious founding species, the San Shayum and Sanghili, the record of punished deeds would not be sufficient without a word on the Arbiter.
Yes.
Not the consignment of shame that it is currently, but what came before. The legendary warriors of Sanghili past.
Yes, the legendary warriors. Oh, big damage. We got a lot of dead bodies. Getting just stabbed and sliced and thrown into rocks.
Long before the Covenant, the Sanghili ruled their world with pride and vigilance, surviving the perils of both land and sea.
Yep. Oh, that wave's gonna
These
destroy
were the
that crew.
arbiters of old, part king, part judge, warrior rulers, unlike any of which would follow.
Yes.
When we arrived on their frontier world of Olgathon, the cost of life was severe. Led by a mighty arbiter, the Sanghili resisted our entreatment with ruthless force, leading to decades of war.
Yep. Ooh, don't like what you see, huh? Yeah, and they fled, of course.
We would eventually triumph, of course. And when
All
we
their
did, we
heads.
would not ignore the mantle of the Arbiter.
Mental.
Like all things, we would bend the Sanghili to our own ends.
Huh.
The Arbiters would become the very will of the Prophets.
Interesting. I guess they use religion to blind them and take them over. That's interesting. Alright, so this is the Monitor report right after the Covenant's will of the Prophet.
For generations, our holy arrangement put the prophets in charge of religion and technology. The elites led our military forces to convert new species and find relics such as your halo.
Makes sense. Good stuff.
And these relics you sought, the San Shayum, your prophets, told you that they would lead you on this great journey?
Yes, transcendence, eternal life. Their promises were endless. We gave up our old ways to follow the prophet's lead on the great journey. Gave up all of our history, all of our traditions.
Huh.
Not all of your traditions, it seems. This Arbiter you mentioned, hasn't that always been a position of power for your species?
Power. It was long ago. An arbiter was once the pinnacle of our people, leader of the clans, master of the battlefield. But then, an arbiter committed heresy, and an example was made of him.
Heresy?
He challenged the word of the prophets, challenged and lost.
Huh. It's a brute, I think. They both died,
So
though.
the title of arbiter became a badge of shame for our most spectacularly failed warriors.
Yes. They were accomplished manipulators, back before the firing of the array. I see at least that hasn't changed.
Manipulators? What? And before? Before when?
I will explain later. Right now, I want you to tell me everything you can of these arbiters.
She has to confirm her theory before she spins off to you, Mr. Covenant Dude. Simple observations. That was the Covenant that was the Monitor report Unequal Union. This is the Covenant record Taming the Hunters. I think is what that said. Maybe it said something different. We'll see. Yeah, this is Taming the Hunters. I can tell from
Our
this
holy
one.
city was not always as it is, nor was the Covenant.
Still
At
being
one
built.
time, it was only San Shayum and Sanghili. But as we grew, and new species were added to our number, radical steps had to be taken.
Yep.
Our first encounter with the Let Golo was an effort in futility. The blasphemous creatures had devoured a Forerunner orbital, shattering its remains into 1 trillion pieces.
Wow.
What was left became the rings of Te. As no conventional methods could purge the rings of their infestation, we sent one of our most faithful, an Arbiter. For a full year, this Arbiter ventured across the surface of one of their moons, learning both their strengths and their weaknesses. It was there that we discovered the Lek Golo's secret. Although some of their kind rightly bore the blame for the orbital's desecration, others had only devoured around the Forerunner materials.
Oh, pew, get destroyed.
And with reasoning and much labor, these could be used to serve the Covenant.
The Hunters.
And by these means, the great Arbiter had given us one of our most sought-after treasures, access to innumerable processing pathways of the mighty Forerunner Dreadnought, and to the many secrets it held.
Huh. Interesting. So that was the Hunters then. They're just a bunch of little things all inside their armor. Interesting. Not too bad. So monitor report divine inspiration. I want numbers. No, I'm joking. We don't need boring old numbers. Letters is great.
It is most unusual that in all the exploits of these Arbiters, you never mention their role in choosing their missions of redemption.
There is no role, Oracle. Once one of our commanders becomes an Arbiter, he belongs to the Hierarchs.
Oh.
These Hierarchs, they are the same High Prophets who control all the holy relics you collect from my time?
The same.
And they use these relics to build your new weapons and bring you the word of your gods?
It has always been so.
Huh.
Interesting. Am I a holy relic?
I do not understand.
Because I am certainly not a god. I am a tool, as is this mining platform you stand upon, as was the installation that once orbited the planet.
This was everything.
The Forerunner's technology is lasting and indeed quite powerful, but I'm quite certain they would have told me if I was infused with some kind of divine power.
Yeah.
I suspect some of your prophets may have been quite aware of how much divine inspiration tools such as myself could provide. And you never questioned these proclamations. Even your mightiest warriors, these Arbiters, never questioned?
Questioning was what brought shame to the word Arbiter long ago,
Yep.
Oracle.
How disappointing.
I fear now that there are many questions we should have been asking for a long time.
I would be more than happy to answer any such questions, but I have a few more for you. Continue your tale of these Arbiters.
Yes, the tale of the Arbiters. I got that terminal too, because I remember it. So 9, monitor report, divine, no, it's 10, Covenant, Angadi Rebellion. I got this one as well. This one was actually fun to watch. Glitchiness of the Covenant technology. Dark skies.
Whereas most species were grafted into the Covenant by faith or mutual beneficence, the Ungoi were not such. Their kind was brought into the fold by force, and it was by force that they were held captive. Their
Not too
world
grand.
had no prayer against our might and majesty,
Yeah.
and their peoples were quickly laid
How
low,
primitive they are.
many of them brought into subjugation.
Just like total conquered.
Yet while some species would perish under such pressure, others rise to the occasion, taking arms if need be, fighting back. Such it was for the Ungoi when their feud with the Kigyar led to rebellion.
Well, the jackals
An effort by the
Makes
Kigyar to
sense.
sterilize the Ungoi population was met with stiff resistance, and for a time, the holy city was thrown into chaos.
Huh.
Once fully provoked, the Ungoi were merciless in their violence, lashing out at all species.
Wow.
Their large numbers and their tenacious volatility made them a suitable challenge, even for the elites.
Yeah, there's too many of them.
And yet again, we turned to an arbiter. And with a ferocity unparalleled since the beginning of the Covenant, the Ungoi world would be reduced to glass.
So I guess the
Those within the
prophets.
holy city would be forced to watch, unable to stop what could have been the very end of their kind.
Wow.
The Ungoi rebellion was brought to an end by the
Plant-wide
Arbiter's
extinction.
hand.
Oh, he's got a tear. Drops his tiny
Their
hand.
world was not completely lost, and those who survived within high charity found some measure of mercy. They had proven their worth in combat, and would now serve alongside the Sanghili in battle.
Here's another tiny gun. It's like, yes, we'll give you a tiny gun. Like, I feel like being an Ungoi, I'd want the big gun, so. The Covenant Record, I don't know what this one is. Monitor report, something. It's a terminal, though.
I'm starting to fear that you're not very smart.
Mind your tongue, Oracle.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean no offense. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your species. How long have these prophets been anointing arbiters?
Since the fall of Falchavami, the first disgraced arbiter,
Huh.
roughly 400 years ago.
Wow.
Incredible. And in all this time, it never occurred to you how convenient it was that your prophets were able to powerful, capable leader among your people, who happened to suddenly commit terrible blasphemy every time the power structure of your covenant was threatened.
Wow,
I
somewhere
do
in
not
there.
understand.
You do little to dissuade my fears.
Wow. Okay,
Then
bit of a lag.
teach me.
Looking back at the record, the arbiters you discussed, was it not surprising to anyone that those chosen to become arbiter were more than simple warriors?
How so?
Each of them had significant political influence among your people. In some cases, that influence was already being used to question the decisions of your hierarchs. In fact, that very questioning often gave rise to the charges of heresy that so neatly removed the challenger from the hierarch's concern.
Yep.
And once they were branded arbiter,
They promptly and quite cheerfully ran to meet their deaths.
Wow.
all our lives we look down at the path, put our feet where the prophets tell us. All our lives spent convincing ourselves of the truth of our covenant. All of it truly have been wasted.
Let's hope not all of it, for we have a great deal of work to do. The flood is still out there, so I require a cooperative reclaimer to enact proper containment procedures. But your covenant keep trying to kill all the reclaimers I can find. All this bickering is quite a deadly waste of time. Right now, the most important question we can ask is this. Who could break this hold the prophets have over you?
Who can break the hold? Yeah. Kind of depends on it, I guess. Oh, there's the flood sport. Okay. Still alive. Their covenant record. Purple hexagons.
The history of the Arbiter is one of both legend and infamy.
Yep.
Their name has been corrupted by great shame. Though
Yep.
the contemporary is perhaps the most confounding of all. Thel Vadami was born of noble blood, the legendary House of Vada. His family's renown demanded great expectations for his military career.
Yep.
And he would meet them all.
Ooh. Absolutely murdered them. Oh, they're still alive. It's
One of
only
the
six.
youngest to achieve the status of shipmaster, and one of the youngest to gain the rate of supreme commander. In our campaign against the humans, few have risen to renown as Vadami.
Yep.
World after human world, all laid low for the sake of the great journey.
Yep.
But then came Halo. Shame unto shame. He failed his greatest charge, and the sacred ring was desecrated.
Yep.
By such disgrace, Del Vadimi became the arbiter. As a mere scribe, I do not challenge the word of the hierarchs, but I would be remiss not to voice concern. This Zanghili should have been put down, publicly slain as an example to all of our prayerful expediency.
Okay, you're not very smart either then. He should be kept in command.
With the discovery of a second ring and the changing of the guard, all things are in jeopardy.
Civil
Will
War.
this arbiter remain loyal? Or will he stand with his people as they are abolished by our newfound might? I would never openly challenge the divine proclamations of a hierarch, but this arbiter is a risk I would not have tolerated. And I now fear the days of the Covenant are numbered.
Of course, you guys are in the middle of a civil war and the master beef is among you. Everyone's gonna die. So next up is Monitor Report, False Journey. I'm actually knowing what the reports are now, huh? Oh yeah, I got this terminal as well.
The only one I would trust with this information is probably dead right now. He was commander of the fleet that brought me to the system. Del Vadimi was his name. But after hearing you tell of the destruction of the ring, I cannot believe that he still lives. His orders were to secure the ring, to prepare it for the arrival of the hierarchs. Vadimi never fails in his duties.
Oop, there's the pillar bottom.
If the ring is no more, then Vadimi must be dead.
Duty can indeed be a dangerous virtue. But even if he did live, wouldn't this sense of duty make him quite unlikely to set aside his allegiance to the prophets?
Perhaps not. And he would never betray our people.
Yeah.
Oh, if we were able to just speak to him, explain everything you have told me. But no, these are futile hopes. If he did live, and if he was returned to the High Prophets, they would most certainly punish him for the destruction of the ring. In fact, he would be the exact kind of leader the hierarchs would make arbiter. They would need someone to blame for the loss of the ring. His influence within the fleet grew with every one of his victories over the humans.
And if he did become arbiter?
Then he would be lost to our cause. Without the knowledge you've shared with me, he would obey the prophets without question.
Yeah.
I doubt he would even respond to his former name. I don't know what it would take to overcome, but as you say, we don't have time to ask such questions, and Vadimi is almost certainly dead.
If all your hopes rest on him, then I fear for the future of this galaxy.
As do I, Oracle. As do I.
The master
But I
beef.
will begin our fight. Make others aware of the lies the prophets whisper in our ears. And soon, we will find more who will take up our cause.
Hopefully. Well, only 2 more terminals to go. These 2 terminals are not unlocked in the levels. You actually just have to go to like the credits or something to watch these. So, Beholden is Terminal 14. Human Colony of Mardan, 2551. Huh. It's a commando, an elite, and a jackal.
Activate the Kindler.
She's got an epic voice.
Make haste. We have little time.
Found it.
It has been found, Commander. Very well. Mark the coordinates and proceed with caution.
Makes sense. Commanders letting the little underlings do his dirty work.
And to think, it has been under their
no,
noses
he's doing
all
it with
this
them.
time. Humans are foul animals.
They lack the intellect and the purity to discern the ways of gods.
Yep.
Prepare the luminary for retrieval.
Sure.
The
Sure
hierarch
thing.
will reward us for our devotion.
Oh, so is this like them trying to get their devotion because of the rebellion or something?
Well done, Commander. Do you know what you found?
A luminary hierarch. A divine instrument.
Yep.
It is more than that, Commander.
Oh.
This is the one spoken of in the prophecies. It lights the sacred path.
Huh. When, oh, the elites are still on.
Good news, I pray.
It was not easy, Blessed One. The luminary was not forthcoming with the holy words, but our hope proved true.
Ooh. It shows all the Halo
The
rings.
sacred rings. Halo.
And not Halo alone, High Prophet. It also told of this. The final home of the Forerunners, and the creation of the sacred rings. The Ark.
Oh.
By the gods. It is glorious. The stories were true. Where did the gods hide such a treasure?
It lies far beyond the borders of our galaxy, accessible only by way of portal. The one portal the luminary spoke of was here. The Forerunners called it Erde Tyrene.
Our calling is clear.
Wait, that looks like
We
Earth.
must go there at once. We will take the ships in our command and go to this world immediately. This Erde Tyrene. Take heed, brothers. Your work signals the culmination of our Covenant's holy quest.
Wait a second.
Hold fast.
So this is
The great journey is at hand.
So this is before the invasion of Earth then. So they were, yeah, it was religious then. They didn't know that the Earth humans were there. That's interesting though. That means the Forerunner themselves were human and maybe alien mix. Probably just human though, to be honest. Unyielding, Terminal 15.
Roger that, Chief. We'll meet you at the rendezvous point when we're done here. Blue 2 out.
John should be here too. They'd listen to him.
Somebody needs to be getting work done while we deal with the red tape.
What do you think they want from us?
It's naval intelligence, Linda. They want us to tell them everything's gonna be okay.
Hate to disappoint.
Yep. Don't disappoint them then, Spartans.
Blue team. Where's the Master Chief?
He asked that I answer the Council's questions. Sir.
We've been reviewing your report. You found a Covenant command and control station. It says here they were amassing an invasion fleet of more than 500 ships.
The station was sufficiently disabled, but the threat is still out there.
I have the report, but for the record of this council, what was this fleet's intended target, Spartan?
Earth? Probe relay station IO near Jupiter. Alert!
Station Control, can I get confirmation on probe Charlie 319er? I think it might be a faulty reading, but...
Alert, 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 alert.
This can't be right.
C319 is active and functioning properly.
Station! Alert home fleet immediately! They found us! The Covenant! They found Earth!
Uh-oh. So the Covenant think it's a religious journey, the humans think it's an actual attack on Earth. That's funny. Funny coincidences, I guess. Well, anyways, that's all the terminals in Halo 2. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video, which will be some multiplayer gameplays before we get into the next Halo campaign. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. May the Force be with you, and good luck.